Movie review. Physical media. And gummy unicorn. Booyah! Tippy time, my damies, and welcome to episode 42 of Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang. This episode is about, why don't you see that motherfucker up there? Salem's Lot. Yeah, I got it in this, I'm going to show off the little thing really quick, because physical media is a big part of this. Got this little thing at like Walmart. It was like cheap. It wasn't too much. It was like maybe around $20 or something like that. And I talked about it a little bit in the last episode where it was like I had a few of the movies already, but I was like, I had not most of them. I not had most of them. So I was like, it's in a neat little set too, a nice little fucking set that you can set up on there. I still plan on getting like a bunch of these, getting like the really good like Blu-ray editions because, this is all DVD. It's got Salem's Lot, The Shining. You see, there's the list and everything, but of course, I'm doing this one on Salem's Lot. And also, still no gummy unicorn. So this episode is brought to you by Zagnut, which I got out of Five Below. Zagnuts are fucking awesome. Zagnut. Don't zig. Zagnut. I don't know. But anyway, like Salem's Lot is such a classic. I mean, I want to start off Tobe Hooper, the director, 5 years earlier, he releases the epic, grindhouse, gritty, just disturbing, horrifying, nauseating at the time. I'm taking myself back to 1974, just something that shocked so many people. The craziness of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. 5 years down the road, he's doing an ambitious adaptation of a Stephen King novel, a TV mini, like a little mini series made for TV and stuff with some big name actors of the time. It's like he went from Texas Chainsaw Massacre to doing that. I mean, and then you get down the road and it's like Poltergeist, all this big shit, and it's like, I think it's pretty cool that someone that just made their own independent film and it just grabbed people so much. And he made some subsequent films in between, and then boom, 5 years down the road, major undertaking, and it's just fucking great. I mean, it doesn't get, of course, because it was made for TV, it doesn't get really super graphic and crazy and bloody and gory, but the effects it does have, that it does use, are fucking solid. The vampire look is just classic, and the way the eyes are reflected is really, really great. And just his shots. It has that style, that great Tobe Hooper style. The shots where he's the camera's lower and always and looking up, so things loom. Or when he's doing the shots where it's the old man in the hallway when he's having a heart attack, where it's kind of like a shot that's higher, the camera's higher, and it actually makes the hallway look like it gets claustrophobic and so small and tiny at the end, and but it gets so open. It's just his use of the camera is just fucking Tobe Hooper, and it's awesome because the guy has an eye. And I'd say some of my favorite bits are the end part when you get inside the Marston house or whatever, Marston house, and just the way it looks, the decrepit nature. I mean, that is as soon as you get in there, if there's anything that screams this is a Tobe Hooper fucking movie, it's when you finally go in that old house and you start seeing the decrepit nature, how it's the old burned parts and the detritus and mold and mildew and dust and all the chicken feathers all over, like it's that room from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but on a grand scale, you know, and the horns and the dead animals, and just the way of just conveying like this, where the atmosphere just has a very dead, deathly, icky fucking feel to it, where it's just a blah. That's pure Tobe Hooper, and it's great, you know. And like the eyes, I love the use of the context. The contexts are really what took like the vampires in this movie to the next level. The reflective eyes and just the cat eyes and the glowing eyes, just how they looked and everything. It really brought like this different kind of nature to the vampire movie. You know, I mean, up till then, you know, there was a lot of Hammer stuff, you know, like Christopher Lee, and a lot of Dracula. And there was a lot of vampire stuff, but like the way Tobe Hooper does his is like, it almost brings I want to say it like ushers in this era of like the vampire's not seductive in this at all. They're like at the end there, it's like she's trying to be seductive to pull him in, but he's like, nah, bitch, I know you're a vampire. Come on. I love you, but I gotta kill you with my big hard wood. I think that there might be some therapists that would have something to say about that, and vampires in particular, maybe. Jeffrey Lewis is in this too. Gotta love it, Jeffrey Lewis. But yeah, it's just the vampires are not seductive. They're destructive. They're like, even though like you watch the seductive Dracula ones, vampires in their nature are destructive. They destroy, whether they're making new vampires to set out as like this fucking virus spreading disease carrying motherfuckers, or they're just straight up killing people and draining blood. They are destructive. They're monsters. But there is no seductive side to this where they're trying to draw people in with this sexuality. They're just fucking killers, man. They're just all about just evil. They're just evil. They're actual monsters in this. And I think that's one of the reasons why this movie has maybe grabbed people a lot, because I don't mind seductive vampires, but I like the destructive vampires, like 30 Days of Night. Those vampires, whether or not you think 30 Days of Night is a good movie or not, those vampires are fucking brutal and hardcore, and I love them, you know? And so it's nice to see a different kind of vampire. And, also, I think I need to bring up the elephant in the room. Mr. Backward's name. What do you mean, Mr. Backward's name? I'm talking about Ned Tibbets. Basically, that motherfucker's name sounds like you're saying something in reverse. Ned Tibbets. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, hey, hi, I'm here to say Ned Tibbets. You know, it's like, it's weird. That name, it's every time you hear it, it sounds like it's something being said in backwards. I'm like, what? Satan is my lord? No, it's just Ned Tibbets, the local dickhead. That's old Nettie. But yeah, it's like, unfortunately not on Tubi, so there's not a link to that. And you might be like, well, what about other streaming apps? I'm not repping other streaming apps. I'm repping Tubi. So there's not that. There is a link for the Blu-ray, a Blu-ray copy of Salem's Lot. This one, like, I didn't double check to see if there's any special features, you know, added it. Sometimes, like, even though it's like this whole type of deal, it's almost like they take the movies that were like released in like by themselves and they just take them out of those cases and put them in these or something. So there'll be some special features on some, maybe not others, blah, blah, blah. If you buy the set, you know what I'm talking about. But I didn't check, but it would be really cool to really get in with some like featurettes, except I think the Blu-ray doesn't even have a lot of like featurettes or something. Just kind of sad, because it would be pretty cool to get more into that. But yeah, really quick, you know, I'm trying to make these videos shorter, so I'm just going to zip into this other part, get it out of the way, and then go on to the next thing. Episode 43. Whoo! Episode 43, I'll be doing another classic, and now, like, I'm going to try to do it pretty soon, because I want to fit one more in before a special Friday the 13th episode that, like, actually, I'd have to get on the ball, like, really fast. I want to do a special Friday the 13th episode. But before then, tomorrow, I'm going to try to fit this one in. Maybe even later today. I might just do two and just release them. I don't know. It's up to me. I'll figure it out. I'm not thinking about it right now. But the next movie, Evil Dead. Yes, this is the Evil Dead collection. As you see, it has Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, and Ash vs. Evil Dead, the complete series. It doesn't have Army of Darkness. I heard the reason it was not included is because it was a different production company. So that's why it's not included in the set, which is kind of a bummer. I don't know why they couldn't strike some kind of deal and just be like, man, let's just put it in there and give them all the shit. Still waiting to, like, looking eventually down the road. Some of my pals have that coveted Evil Dead Blu-ray Book of the Dead collection that comes with the cool Book of the Dead and the movies. Yeah. But for now, I have this one, which is a very awesome set, and I will get into that next time. Evil Dead, the classic Evil Dead, first Evil Dead will be the next episode. But yeah, so Salem's Lot, you know, came out in 79, and it holds up. And what's really cool is, like, I think the first copies I had, or the first copy I had of it, like, I seen it on TV. The first copy I had was like a DVD-R burned copy, so the quality wasn't great. So, like, on here, it looks way better than my other one. So I can't imagine how beautiful it's gonna look down the road when I get it on Blu-ray and watch it in HD. Because, like I said, it doesn't get crazy effects driven, because, you know, it wasn't just like a movie like how he did Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, Eaten Alive, all the other kind of shit. It was a short little TV miniseries. So, but still, like, the vampires, the makeup, just, like, I think just it'll help even the atmosphere of, like, the house and the look and just all the different scenes, like the interplay between, like, vampire graveyard guy versus old man with cross. You know, I think that scene would look just, like, really great. And then, you know, the floating vampire kids outside the window and just how they look. I think all those scenes are just going to look fucking beautiful in HD. So down the road, that will be pretty cool. But, like, yeah, it's been a minute since I really sat down and really watched Salem's Lot. And I'm glad I did it again, because it is an absolute classic. And if you're a Stephen King fan and you haven't seen it, definitely watch it. If, like, I don't know, if you're in a classic horror movie mood and you ain't seen it, definitely go watch it. It might not be, like, you might not think it's that great, because it's an older movie, 79, and it doesn't get brutal and crazy, but, like, it is definitely a super duper solid entry into the vampire horror genre. That's all I gotta say, is that, I mean, everything comes together in this, and it's great. Side note, the town where it was, like, mostly filmed in, Ferndale, California, is actually some of my old stomping grounds. Like, I grew up in Humboldt County, and that's where Ferndale's at. It's out there on the coast. I was mostly inland, but a little backstory, during COVID, I was kind of stuck in an RV for a bit, and things were a little goofy, and they sucked, kinda. But the RV park that I was in that town. So it's like the graveyard. I've been up in that graveyard. I've been all over around there and everything. It's a quaint little town, but I think it's kind of cool that a movie like this, that was like a big kind of movie, you know, and it still is. A lot of people, like, love Salem's Lot. It has been firmly cemented in, like, horror movie classic stuffs. And what the thing is, that of the word, insert here, that, like, I could be like, oh dude, that's pretty cool, you know, that's like where I'm from, kinda. I mean, I'm not born and raised in that town, but part of my old stomping grounds from, like, you know, where I was raised and shit. So yeah, Ferndale, California. The graveyard is magnificent. If you're ever, like, if you're one of those people that makes it out that way and you're like, oh, I want to go check out the town, Like fucking, I guess The Majestic was also filmed there. Parts of Outbreak, and there's just been other movies. But like, I just thought that'd be cool to add that, like, yeah, Ferndale, California, where it was mostly filmed at, right around there, old stomping grounds of the Pootmeister, right here. But yes, if you haven't watched it in a while, watch it again. Celebrate, like if you're one of those people that celebrates Halloween by just like binging horror movies like the rest of the year, but like I don't know, makes it more of a big deal like I do. Watch Salem's Lot again. If you haven't seen it, watch it. You're getting into horror, definitely watch it. It's a classic. But yeah, I mean, when you zig instead of zag nut, you're not really satisfying your hunger, are you? For a sweet, sweet treat that is crunchy peanut butter and toasted coconut. Remember, don't zig, zag nut. Yeah, so definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. Definitely watch it again. It's a classic. It's so fucking solid. Tobe Hooper adapting Stephen King's classic Salem's Lot for a TV miniseries 5 years after throwing Texas Chainsaw Massacre in the world's face. It is epic. It is awesomeness. It is Salem's Lot. Wah wah. And if you're at Walmart, pick this up. I think it's also on Amazon. Maybe I'll put the link for this on Amazon. I'll look for that. Like I haven't done it yet, so I'm telling you now. I'll see if it's on Amazon. Maybe you might want to pick this set up. I'll throw that in there too. But all right, so your Pity Kind has been signed on pretty adequately. So I'm gonna get the fuck out of here, and I'll see you next time. Wadata and Capachow. Call me down on the panty sty, bitches. Until next time. This has been Reviewedly Interrupted with me, your host, Pootie Tang.